Hi, I'm Dana, and this is Highly Delicious. So today, I am using my younger sister's recipe that she created many moons ago, and whenever she comes to visit us, we always ask her to fix this soup because it's so filling and delicious. We're up here on Magic Mountain in Spavinaw, Oklahoma at our lake house. When we come up here, it's like stepping back in time. It's so relaxing, and especially the history of this place. Today, we are going to be making a weed soup. It is a family recipe that we have that one of my sisters created, and it is a delicious anytime soup, but I felt a hankering for it in particular on this nice fall day. So it's a very easy soup to make. As you can see, all we have to have are smoked beef, celery, leeks, golden potatoes, and I am using a chicken bone broth. I'm using my dad's seasoning salt and about 1/4 cup of flour. So this soup is very popular in our family. My sister makes it for us every time she comes down. The only difference in what we're doing today is that I am infusing it with RSO, which is cannabis oil, full spectrum cannabis oil, and I'm going to infuse it in the cream, which is another reason why I chose this soup today, because the Rick Simpson oil, or the full extract cannabis oil, can be used in the cream to disperse throughout the whole soup, and I'm going to turn my soup off before pouring the cream in so that I know that it won't curdle and my RSO will not lose any of its potency from getting too hot or being cooked too long. The ingredients that I'm using, of course, have to be chopped, and that is the most time-consuming thing of making this soup. I have chopped up some celery in here, and that's what we'll start with our butter, and then I'm going to follow it up with leeks, which I don't know if you've cooked with leeks or not, but after trying this soup, I think you're going to find that they are an awesome item to have in your refrigerator for add-ons. I've started using them just like I do onions. It's really interesting, and even combining the leeks and onions together gives you different flavors. So really check this out. Don't turn away from it because you've never used it before. Then I took the golden russets and chopped them up into fine little pieces. We're going to saute these items together, and then I'm going to turn that into a gravy with the broth, and I'll add my smoked beef in last after I've turned the fire off, and that way it'll give it enough time to heat up but not get too hard or stiff like it has a tendency to do after it's cooked for a while. So we've got our butter sauteing. In our pan, I'm going to add the celery in first, only because I know it does make a difference. And my sister said you have to do the celery first, so I am doing the celery first. Just going to cover it and saute it for a few minutes. This is on a very, very low heat. Celery takes a little bit longer to soften. As you see, I'm using the butter. However, you have the option of sauteing in whatever you want, coconut oil, that sort of thing. There's a lot of considerations and opportunities that we have today for doing something different. I'm going to go ahead and add some cannabis spice into this now. I really like to cook the seasonings in from the beginning. Don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to lose any potency, because that's not the main effect that I'm going for here. This is just pure cannabis flavoring. Isn't that beautiful? So the next item that we're going to add in are our leeks. Leeks come, interestingly enough, in a bundle of 3. I don't know that I'll use all of these, but we'll see. Oh yeah, this is doing nice. This is all going to cook down a lot. I'm going to keep my butter on low. It seems like it's going to be entirely too much, but it's amazing what you end up with. Oh, the fragrances are incredible. If I know I have someone coming for a dinner and we're having this, because I don't add the meat in till the end, I get to have a full flavored soup that's vegetarian. While that is cooking, I'm going to come over to my flour and seasoning salt, and I'm going to mix in some of the seasoning salt with the flour. You know what? And then I'm going to lightly cover my potatoes. So this is going to give them a nice sauteed flavor, but it's also going to add a nice thickener to our soup. And your flavoring is already in it as well. Hey there, Lynx. Are you smelling this food, baby? Are you hungry? That's Lynx. She's our guest girl. She belongs to a friend of ours, Miss Culliver, and she is staying with us right now. When I'm in the kitchen, she thinks it should all be about her. I'm going to put a little spice and give that a little more time to reduce down. This is my sour diesel that I grew, that I love, that I did. Oops. I guess that was meant to go in there too. So I just kind of break it up, crumble it into pieces. You usually don't use a whole piece like this, but since it wants to go in there, why not? Sometimes things happen that we don't realize are tremendous discoveries. I've put the flour and seasoning on the potatoes, done a light little fluffing, and now we're going to add this into the mixture. It's kind of an odd entry into it, but hey, whatever works. All right, it's tried and proven in my family, so just stay with us on this. We're going to lightly mix this in. You know, with winter vegetables right now, I can see introducing several different variations to this soup. And I am cooking this on a very low heat. I'm also using a cast iron. So now we've got the main ingredients all sauteed together. Let's see if I can lift this baby up. So good, and the smell is very encouraging. Now, I'm not quite ready to put this in the sink and let it soak because I'm going to use it for my cream, but I am going to set it slightly off of the fire so that that good stuff there doesn't burn more. Remember that this is a chicken broth, bone broth, whatever your flavor is. Let me pull this back over, loosen up some of this roux. Now my intention is not to turn the stove back on because I want to keep it very, very low heat. Remember that anytime your cannabis is heated at too high of a temperature, say over 180, you start losing crystals. And I know that a lot of people are amazed that there's so many crystals with, and terpenes and different things with cannabis. Most of us think of CBD and THC, but there are so many more, so many more. So let's put our cream in. It's about a cup of cream, just to add a little bit of flavoring to the soup. This is also when I'm going to add in my Rick Simpson oil, which again I do totally intuitively. This is a 5 milligram syringe that I choose to use because it makes it easier for me in cooking and also in other things that I'm doing. And I'm going to squeeze out that amount. That is about a half of a gram. Oh yeah, that's mixing so nicely. So nicely. I love being the commander of my health like I have experienced in this last year with Rick Simpson, and during a time when everybody has been encumbered with fear of catching a disease and that sort of thing. I feel that cannabis has taken away my fear of COVID and different things. I just know how healthy my body is. I can feel it. So I'm going to bring this up to a fast boil, let it cook a little bit longer. So the only thing left that I haven't put in is the meat, but I'm not going to put that or the cream in until this is cooked all the way through. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my meat to my cream. Not that you have to, but I just had this feeling that it might be a good idea, so I did it. You know, following a recipe is great. Feeling like there's no other way to cook other than a recipe kind of takes some of the impromptu fun out of it. I like to imagine that my ancestors are beside me as I'm doing this and imparting ideas and so forth. Actually, I totally believe that's what's happening. And it makes it more interesting in the kitchen. We are at the last step. Look at this. This is our base of weed soup. It's all so delicious looking. All we have left to do is add in the beef, smoked beef, which I went ahead and put in my infused cream while the soup finished its cooking. And that way it just has a softer, more palatable texture for us, and we won't be adding it to too hot of a mixture so that the cream curdles and the RSO would lose some of its potency. And I tell you, you'll come to love the nourishment that you start to feel from the Rick Simpson oil. I encourage you to look into the protocol and talk to yourself about a cleansing and all with this, because it's amazing. It is just amazing. Oh my goodness, would you look at that? Doesn't that look delicious? So let's just blend it all in. It's all going to be the perfect temperature. It'll heat that meat, which is already slightly warmed. And we are ready to dish up weed soup, infused with RSO. Join us again next time, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.